What's up, everybody? Welcome to the set of the Business Temple podcast, where we talk about the union of ancient philosophy and modern business. This is your co host, Super Alex.
And your co-host Super Ray, ready for the day.
Oh,
Oh man, I'm so pumped, Alex. I I love the energy that we bring on every single Saturday. And right now, I just need you all to like, subscribe, so we can continue to bring you content, continue to bring you all the great stuff about being an entrepreneur, how to become a better person, entrepreneur, and marry the philosophy and business while doing it in this kind of crazy world that we're in right now. I don't know,
that's right.
but I don't know. I'm feeling a little philosophical today. Maybe we'll get into that a lot deeper. But we all know the topic for today. And Alex,
It is
yeah.
unlocking the secret of good deals. So, very, very important to be able to detect a good deal, especially detect a bad deal, and also how to offer a good deal as well to your customers, your clients. So, we're going to talk all about that today. But first, let's play him out a little bit, or play him in, rather. We don't want y'all to go yet. There you go. Hype up the weekend. We do this every single Saturday, 9 a.m. PT, 12 p.m. ET here at the Business Temple. We got a New York thing going on. What's up, everybody? Make sure to smash that like button, hit the bell button to get all the notifications. But you know where to find us every single Saturday, live streaming here on YouTube. If you want to check out our previous episodes, we actually started out in Clubhouse first, and you could see that on the description of this episode. You ready for this?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, and don't forget to follow along. You can go ahead and comment. We'll read your comments live here in the Business Temple. We have a scroller going on. And also, if you have a comment of a new episode you want us to do, feel free to drop that as well. We are always open to ideas. And if you want to be part of the show, or if something that we might try in the future, bring on more guests, feel free to
Absolutely.
email us and let us know.
There
Well,
you
with that
go.
said, let's get things started. I'm going to start things off by asking you this one question,
Oh
Alex.
man, time to go to church. What you
Who
got?
doesn't who doesn't like a good deal?
Nobody. I know I'm not dealing with a bad deal, but obviously there had been some pitfalls wherein I thought one was a good deal or a bad deal disguised as a good one, and I
Hmm.
fell for that. Just think about scams, for example.
Mm-hmm.
They disguise it with all of this value, all of this all of these things that will benefit you, but then in the end it's such a very deceptive way of marketing a product, especially when you get a product that you don't like or you weren't expecting. For example, this one time I bought a gift for somebody, and then this person did not get the exact gift that I bought. So it's like buying something from Amazon and Wish or something like that. You know what I mean? But that's what I got.
I see. I see. And do you have like any way of just like you said you bought a gift for a friend? Okay, this is
Mhm.
and you bought it off of Amazon, I would assume. Amazon typically has some of the best deals, and they have their own promotional deals on top of the vendors deals. So
Yes,
when
they
you
do.
think about Amazon and thinking of a good deal, what gives you the perception that you're getting a good deal on Amazon?
So number one is the free shipping. If I see
Hmm.
something like free shipping, and if I see
Convenience.
something like, yes, convenience, and second, I'm not sure if this falls in the convenience bracket as well. Let me know, Ray. But when I'm able to get the product, whatever it is I ordered, right away.
Convenience. It's readily available. You're getting fast service, and those are two very good deals, good incentives when you're making a deal. If you're getting the product delivered in a timely manner, and you're getting it delivered in a way where it's not an extra charge on top of what you already were
Yep.
promised you are paying, then that is, to me, a relatively good start to enticing me to purchase the product. But and before we even get to that point where you already know what you're getting when you're buying off of Amazon. The hope is that yes, you're getting that free shipping and you're getting the convenience of it just being delivered within 1 or 2 days now, the 2 day
Mhm.
shipping time frame. What else? Like just when you're doing your research and let's say browsing different products that you want to purchase, how do you know you're getting a good deal?
So another major thing is obviously like what you said, doing research on a product, making sure that you're reading feedback from previous customers who had purchased this product. Pretty much what I'm talking about are reviews,
Hmm.
and then ensuring, well, not ensuring, but checking if that seller responds to these reviews. How do they respond to the reviews? How do they respond to the negative reviews? So
Hmm.
seeing this vendor that they're open to feedback and then they're responsive to good and negative feedback, that means a lot to me, because these people actually care about their customers. They interact with them. So
Okay.
being easy to reach, if I'm buying something from you and you're easy to reach and you're not ghosting me after I bought it from you, that in turn is an incentive for me to make that makes it look like a good deal.
Mm, okay. Okay. And this is me trying to just get to the core
Yeah,
of
absolutely. Let's
of
get to it.
what do you perceive to be a good deal, because when you're an entrepreneur and you're trying to create a deal or make a deal with someone, the first thing that I like as a person, I always perceive the brand first. And like you said, how do you build a brand? A brand comes from the people that are using your products and services, similar to when you're negotiating with others. You want to know that the person that you're dealing with is credible, that the person that you're dealing with has a good product, has good authority, has some sort of understanding, and then has also made other deals that have worked out in the past. And that all comes from getting that feedback and also providing commentary, like you said. Because I imagine this scenario where one person has a product and another person has a similar product, the same exact, the products aren't any different, they're the same exact products, but one has a brand name, like I don't know, let's say for example, if you're shopping for scooters, uh,
Hmm.
I'm looking at scooters, and one is like a Segway scooter, and then the other scooter is from a brand that you never really even
Heard
heard of.
about.
But
Yeah.
the Segway scooter might be $100 $200 more, and then this product is not as expensive, is like actually less, but it comes from, I don't know, an unreputable source that you
So
don't know
they're a
that's in China.
risk.
So there's some risk involved.
Yeah.
So even though you might even get a better deal, let's say in terms of price, people would tend to lean more towards a product that they could know or brand that they know and they trust, even if it is not necessarily cheaper. And that's the
I get
same
that.
exact product, no changes to it, just a slap
Hmm.
of the label that says Segway. And I think as an entrepreneur, your brand, your label, you're supposed to be representing yourself in that way. And that way people are willing to pay for the best. People are willing to pay for a good amount of money for your services, this even if it's the same as somebody else's. But the difference is you're now built a on you built a platform that you can stand on and pretty much put yourself on a pedestal, saying that you are the best. Essentially, you are the best. You're the person
That
that gets
reminds me of
like,
Apple.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
true.
Very, 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 very simple, mobile,
Yeah.
and it's just they've got that brand trust,
Hmm.
that makes people want to purchase new phone updates every single. I know you do that, right? So it's like, what makes you do that?
Honestly, when it comes to the computers, Mac computers are garbage. They're trash. They're
Mm,
spec wise, performance wise. You can find uh, a computer PC so much better than any Mac that you could purchase for that similar price. But when it comes to phone, it's honestly a lot of it does come from the prestige of having the latest and greatest in technology. It doesn't matter if it has an M1 chip, M2 chip, M3 chip, whatever chip they're on right now, and it just really comes down to Is it usable? Does it have the things that I need? Nobody needs a 8K camera on their phone like a lot of these Samsung phones try to do to just kind of upgrade. They haven't figured out the customer sentiments to capture that audience. The phone market in the US is completely dominated by iPhones at this point. It's not even a question. It's about 70% of users, smartphone users, I
I
would
didn't
say,
even know that.
has.
70%.
I will find out for you right now. But anyways, and the phone is more expensive than a Samsung phone, and they give those things
Mhm.
for free. I'm just saying, and getting a Samsung phone is honestly a better deal than getting a Apple phone. You're getting a lot more phone than if you're purchasing an Apple. But why do people purchase Apples? Because people.
You're getting a lot more phone.
Yeah, you are.
I love that, bro. I absolutely love that. Well, I mean, to me, what I really want to build off here, Super Ray, is what you said about the feeling of prestige when you own the latest technology, or even when you own the latest iPhone. So it's not just owning the latest technology, it's being up to date with one of the best brands of phone in the world. So I think that's an important thing to really look into, right? The feeling that the product evokes in you as well. You know,
Mhm.
so if the product makes you feel good, that definitely will entice you to, to purchase whatever offer they have.
Yeah.
So it's an important thing to ask yourself when you're creating an offer. How do I want my customers to feel when holding my product or when using my service? That's a
Mhm.
very that's a very important question. So the first epiphany of the episode. There we go.
Mhm.
Now, what does a bad deal look like?
Oh, Alex, you tell me, what does a bad deal look like?
Oh man, I have some stuff to rant about. I
Okay.
got a bunch of notes for it too. But the first thing I will talk about is the complete opposite of what I mentioned earlier.
Mhm.
Cli Sellers who don't respond to customer reviews, who are extremely hard to reach, sellers who provide this certain type of marketing where, for example, you're getting a discount or you're going to receive the product right away, and those two promises from the get-go, they just fall short.
Mhm.
You don't receive the product right away, you actually end up paying for more than what you expected, because they kind of like backhanded you, like, hey, we're selling it for this much, and if you get it in X amount of time, you will get it for this discounted price. And then with the moment where you sign that contract or you make the purchase, all of these hidden fees start popping up, and you're like, what the hell is going on? Definitely the opposite of what I mentioned earlier is bad. But also I want to mention, and very important to me as well as an entrepreneur and with someone with a core skill set on sales, it's probing. I have an example. Everybody has heard the "sell me this pen," uh, whatever thing, right? That activity, and a lot of people will be like, "Hey," or I'll ask, "Hey, sell me this pen." Oh, this pen, it's a very nice pen. It has a good grip
Mhm.
right here. It's black ink. A lot of people use it for business, and it just looks sleek. You're not really asking the customer certain questions to determine if this person actually needs this type of pen or
Yeah.
not. So the answer to sell me this pen is asking or probing questions. How long you been in the market for pens for? What does a perfect pen look like for you? If you held the perfect pen in your hand right now, how would that make you feel? What are your preferences when it comes to owning a nice pen? Asking these questions, getting to know your customer. If a seller does not attempt to get to know me and will just try to sell me from the get go with a huge fucking discount in a 12-hour time frame, that is a no for me. So
Mhm.
that is a bad deal for me. If you're not trying to get to know my wants, my needs, then how exactly is this transaction collaborative?
Yes. Yeah.
So that's the answer to sell me this pen.
So you have to make it the transaction collaborative. It has to be a win-win in the scenario. But
Exactly.
to be honest, when you're an entrepreneur, It's so weird. It's such a weird calibration. I don't know if you ever even like if you ever read The Art of the Deal by Donald Trump. I know he's not a very popular figure.
I have not read that.
I
Tell us
skimmed
about
through
it.
the book. And I mean, a lot of it is rah fan fiction, kind of like common knowledge type of stuff. But there's a portion in the book where he talks about how you are you always want to have leverage when you're making a
Mm,
deal as a
mhm.
person that's selling, or you always want to have a power over someone or control. In this scenario, if you're the person doing the selling, there is some sort of leverage where it's like, I have what you want
Right.
and you need to pay me a premium for that particular pen or product, whatever you have, and then making the person in a sense realize or have that realization like, oh my god, I can't live without this pen. Oh my god, I have to have this pen. If I don't have this pen, then I won't be able to do this or that. So that kind of selling tactic, what do you think? Does that work in nowadays, or having more so of coming from a position of leverage? Tell me. I want to get your thoughts
So
on
this
that.
is the first time I'm actually hearing that coming
Hmm.
from a position of leverage. I'm not going to be closed-minded about it. I'm sure there are scenarios where it actually works, but where I'm coming from and what I'm used to offering and what I'm used to being offered is coming from a position of adding or giving value
Yeah.
first. For example, in my company, I Influence Institute, where I provide coaching, public speaking, and training when it comes to stress management. What I do is I provide that value first. I i will either offer a free trial class, might end up having two free trial classes. I will either offer extra classes to make sure that the product that I'm selling, the service that I'm selling, is right for my customer. Now, when it comes to leverage, I've never thought about creating an offer that way, wherein, okay, I know you're stressed as fuck. And I have the keys to not make you stressed anymore, to lessen your stress. I'm not entirely sure
Every
how I'm
motivational
going
speaker
to.
ever.
Yeah. Exactly. Oh my god, I just realized that. But I'm not entirely sure where to come from leverage at that point. Can you like enlighten me a bit further on that?
The way I see it, and this
Mm-hmm.
is how I think about it, is that profit in its general sense and revenue, all it's essentially the definition of not getting someone else not getting a good deal, because in order for you to make a profit, you need to in essence sell a product or sell a service that's worth, I don't know, less than what it took for you to acquire that knowledge, that the product or the service, and then present it as more value to the consumer, a consumer that's willing to pay a premium, and then therefore making a profit. So when you think about what someone's willing to pay, let's say, for example, if you're a collector and you have a card that you pay $5 to get for a package, and then you get this rare card or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and someone is willing to pay you $1,000, only though it costs you $5 to get that package. Well, the labor, the time, the cost, I mean, did it take you?
Right.
You just got lucky at that point. So, I mean, I- just to get back to it. So, if this is a transaction, you're making a profit off of something, that would mean that you've acquired that thing or that product or service at a less cost. So, if you're
Mm-hmm.
making a profit, you're
Exactly.
you're essentially the one with the leverage here. You're the one that has a product. You have something that values that somebody else wants, and they're willing to pay a premium for it. So, in essence, you're the one in control.
That reminds me of what is that called? People who go into eBay and then buy cheap stuff and then resell it for a premium.
Yep.
Flipping it. They're called
Flipping,
flip.
house
There it is.
flipping, and everything. Yeah.
Exactly. Is that similar to what you're saying? I'm trying to
In a
get a
way,
grasp
yeah.
of
I
that
mean,
understanding.
everything is a flip. If you're an
Hmm.
entrepreneur, if you're looking to make a profit on
That
anything,
makes a
everything
lot
is
of
a flip.
sense, bro. You're absolutely right there. Absolutely, absolutely right. You know, uh, I used to do the same thing. I would go on eBay, buy certain rare things, or actually, I'm gonna give you a better example: garage sales.
Hmm.
I used to hit up garage sales or thrift stores, to find them hidden gems, whatever it is I'm looking for. Let's use clothes as an example. I'll go to, I don't know, a Goodwill or something like that, look around and then find this, designer brand clothes for like $80, flip that and sell it for 6,500.
Hmm.
So that, I guess that's the leverage there.
And that's how you find a good deal.
There
You
you go.
find
Absolutely.
that's how you find a good deal. You source it from places where you know it'll be the cheapest. You source,
I
and
understand.
another thing I think that Donald Trump, in his book, he wrote about how he would go to these neighborhoods and streets that were very popular, in high demand, but he will purchase the cheapest house or cheapest apartment on that block
Mhm.
and get a good deal there, and then just reconstruct it and do upgrades to the apartment and sell it for twice as much or maybe even more. It's finding the cheapest product or that you can that is in high demand and then selling it.
Making that look sexy and
That's
then
pretty much
selling
it.
it.
Put some lipstick on that pig and then sell it.
For real though, man. Put the lipstick on a pig. Oh my god, that's oh man, you are, kind of philosophical today, Super Ray. That
Oh
was
man.
some good stuff. So let's talk about how do we create a good offer.
Hmm.
Entrepreneurs, how you create a good offer. What do you have in mind, Super Ray?
How do you create a good offer? This is the most common tactic I've seen. I mean,
Hmm.
in all my years of marketing, is the strike through pricing. I don't know if you're
Okay.
familiar with that. It's the appearance of a good offer. A
Hmm.
good offer comes once in a while,
Hmm.
uh, once a year during these holiday sales where you're seeing
Urgency,
these,
scarcity.
yeah, and limited time offers, all of that. Like those are offers that are enticing to people because they're willing to take that action immediately because of their this deal might not come around anytime soon. So if you do, I think honest, it works. That's the sad part about it, that it works. Strike through pricing, deals that come once in a lifetime, but you're probably going to do the same deal next week.
Hmm.
These type of things work. Unfortunately, it's a little deceptive, but if you are offering, if you have, if the services you're offering or products are worth $100 and then you're taking off $20 or $30 off the markup price, and you do like the slash through, which is the
Yep.
strike through on the price, and say, oh, this Memorial Day weekend we're having this sale, then people are more likely to buy it because they're already in that mode. Even if they don't, even if they're not looking for it, they can't pass up a good deal because wow, this only comes once in a while. I'm gonna purchase it, even if they're not looking for a pen or a service. So
Exactly.
that's
Exactly.
that's to me. How about you? How do you create a new
To me,
good deal?
a good offer comes from, well, from my experience, it comes from the mindset first.
Hmm.
I have to be able to say no to my client or my customer. And I'm talking about strictly services here, not
Hmm.
products. So I've never sold a product. I mostly sell services. And so with something as intangible like a service, you got to be, the tactics need to be a little bit different. And to me, one of the things that work the most is I told myself I'm not going to work with someone who who is not a perfect or even a close fit to my service. Therefore, I had now have the mindset we're in. Yeah, I'd love to work with a lot of people, but I will say no to people who do not, fit my service,
Hmm.
because then that would just put them at risk. It would not be a win-win situation. So when creating an offer, have that in mind, and also have in mind a win-win situation, not the customer wins and you lose, not
Hmm.
you win and the customer loses, and god forbid the both of you lose. You know what I mean? Like, you're just trying to sell something, you get a bad review and you didn't make money as well, and the customer hates your product. So it's just finding a win-win situation. And I learned that from Chris Voss, who was a
Hmm.
former FBI negotiator and or FBI hostage
Hmm.
negotiator. And what was his
He wrote
book?
the book. He wrote the book on like body language. Is the Chris?
Chris Voss had that book. Hang on. I gotta Google this
Look it up.
real quick, people. Book on
Never
negotiate.
split the
Never split
difference.
the difference. There you
There you
go.
go.
There you go. So never split the difference on creating an offer. Make sure it's a win-win situation, and also have a list of questions to ask your potential prospects, to determine if they're the right customer for you or not. So filtering your client base through your offers, that's definitely one of my big things on
Mm.
on creating an offer, and also having the mindset to, of course, say yes to many of your clients, but then also the capacity to say no. Now, this is a tricky one because a lot of
Mm.
startup entrepreneurs out there who are, who have no seed funding, who have no investors, and all their finances are coming from their personal savings or checkings. They're always gonna want to be closing a sale, because
Mm.
in the beginning
And
you're gonna want as much profit as possible. So the conundrum here, and I want you to help me answer this too, Super Ray. The conundrum here is, how do you know? I mean, can you even afford to say no in the beginning? Because you don't want to be negative, or at least break even at the end of the month. Therefore, you got to say yes to everybody, even if you know that the person you're saying yes to is not the right fit for your product or service. So, how do entrepreneurs go about that?
I'm a challenge that way of thinking a little bit,
Yeah, yeah.
because I feel that even though you might think that the customer is not the right fit, how would you know that if you don't actually deal with that customer or have that kind of
Mhm.
experience with a customer that may not necessarily fit your profile? As a startup, I'm saying this strictly as someone that's starting out. I'm not
Yep,
saying someone that
exactly.
has experience, that has a lot of experience under the belt, and they know which customers kind of, and they have, I guess that's you coming from a position of leverage, a position of privilege in that regard, where you can just say no. But when you're a startup entrepreneur and you're starting your business, I would say take as much clients as you can handle realistically. Don't take too many people that you can't handle,
That's a good one.
and test the waters, because not everything is going to be great. And I would say this: if the service that you offer fails to deliver, offer a refund and give the person back their money, because trust me, it's not worth the headache. It's not worth the time or the effort to just dispute things like, oh, well, I expected this and you didn't deliver on this X, Y, and Z, even though
Yeah.
you might feel you've done a great job, you delivered everything, you worked on this project. Let's say a contracted art piece, for example, which is invaluable. Like someone contracts you to draw a picture or a painting, and then they deliver it, and the person just doesn't like it. What happens then? You're stuck with an art piece that has no buyer, that was custom made for someone,
Hmm.
and the person doesn't want it. So what do you do then? Now you realize that you don't want to work with people like this anymore, because now you've taken all this time and effort and put into this piece.
Hard lessons.
Yeah. And I mean, I would say structure your business model so that you are doing work on a retainer where you're retained for a certain percentage. So at least that covers the minimum costs, the products, the painting, the brushes, the canvas, etc. And the time and the labor can be refunded if needed. And I would say in that scenario, I mean, you'll learn to deal with people, and you'll learn eventually which ones to turn down, which ones to take on.
I love that. I want to build on what you mentioned earlier, and it has something to do with minimizing risk for
Mhm.
your potential customers. I think that's a very strong point when it comes to creating an offer. Really look into the offer that you're creating, and poke holes in it.
Yeah.
What risk does my customer have when they purchase my product or service? Is it when it comes to, is there a payment processing risk? Is there a transport risk? Is there a risk that you might not foresee immediately upon the transaction, but later on especially when you're selling a service, like for example a training or a coaching
Mhm.
program like Ray and I do. That's you're continuously working with this customer. It's not just a one-off thing.
Mhm.
So what you take a look at what risks there are in the long run as well. So
Mhm.
being able to poke holes in your offer and then minimize the risk as much as possible. I love what you mentioned about the refund. That is the ultimate, you know, risk minimizer that a lot of people can think of. But at the same time, deliver or present that product or service to them in the form of, hey, you can give this a shot. If you don't like it, you don't have to do it. And if you do end up working with me and then in the long run you don't like it, I'll give you a full refund. But
Or
right now
either a
I'm
free
super
offer,
excited.
trial. So yeah, that's good.
Exactly. So I
But
like
that's a
that.
good offer, a good
I
deal.
like that. I like that minimizing risk factor. Very, very, very important. But I think a lot of startup entrepreneurs, especially when you mention, testing the waters, they're not entirely sure what risks there are in
Mhm.
their offers. And so I like what you said about getting as much clients as you can handle reasonably, and just learning those hard lessons. Learn
Yeah.
those hard lessons now instead of later. Because I
Yeah.
promise you, if you learn it later, then there's more risk for you of losing everything that you just built.
Yeah. And when it comes to service industry and versus product industry, I gotta say it's so much easier to just buy products in China and then set up a drop shipping
Drop shipping, yeah.
site or something like that and sell online. It set up a website. It's it's easy. Honestly, you can have an AI do all of that, automate the process. You can even have an AI customer service on the site, honestly. And
Honestly,
I have a friend that does that. He's made hundreds of thousands of dollars doing that. There's nothing wrong with that. But when it comes to like service industry, is a lot more personal and it's very customized to the experience that the customer is having with you. So there's definitely a need to be more cognizant of who you're dealing with, because when you're selling a product, you don't care. All you see is numbers. Someone is receiving the product,
right,
they
right.
use it, they like it or not. It's yes or no. It's very binary. And but when it's a service industry, it's there's a lot more nuances that you need to be more in tune with. And one of those things is definitely having contracts in place that clearly
Yep.
spells out what the delivery and what the service is going to be. I mean, I did that from the beginning. I made sure before I even went into trying to get customers is to get the contracts right, get
Bulletproof that contract.
yeah, making sure that everything is sound and it's there you have your non-negotiables and you also have your negotiables, and that's pretty much it.
I love that, man. And also, protect yourself too. When it comes to the contract, protect yourself. Very, very, very
Oh
important.
man, I can't stress that. I have a friend lost millions of dollars because he forgot to
Oof.
make sure that they signed their their agreements and their outside of just the business part, because a lot of what business owners do, they get involved with their friends, they get
Yeah,
involved with family members, and they forget the necessities, which is write up
having
a
a contract.
contract,
That's
video the
right.
contract signing, because sometimes you might not have a notary there, but what
Hmm.
you can do is video yourself or video the other person signing a
That's a
contract
good one.
and having that in place. So if anything were to happen, it protects you and your friend. So if you really both want this, there shouldn't be a question about these things. Make sure you sign contracts. And I mean, when it comes to deals, same thing. Don't get screwed over a deal or have someone change the deal last minute and deliver something that's not supposed to be delivered. And if you have
Exactly.
contracts, it removes any of that. If it says I'm supposed to get 100 bags of concrete and I receive
And you'll
99,
get 100 bags.
yeah, I get 99. You didn't hold up your end of the deal. It Yeah, I didn't get 100 bags. Either you make it right or you lose a customer for life, you get a bad review, or you offer me a refund. That's it.
Going back to what's the book you were talking about with Donald Trump?
There's
What's
a
the title?
deal. The art of
Yeah,
the
The Art of
deal.
the Deal. I think that those contracts, talking about what you mentioned earlier, Ray, with leverage, those contracts will give you that leverage.
Mhm.
Absolutely. That should be a topic. One day we got to talk about contracts,
We
man.
gotta talk about
Very
every
important thing for entrepreneurs.
every entrepreneur would rather watch paint dry than hear about contracts, but it is
But they're gonna hear it from the business temple. We're gonna make that shit sexy and deliver it to you one of these days. We'll set it up. But yes, definitely has been. I learned a lot, Super Ray. I really like your insights on this. The way you approached it. The I've never heard of selling from a point of leverage before, and also you bringing up the contracts. That is so many things that really playing factors when it comes to creating a good offer and being able to detect a good or bad deal. So thank you for that wisdom today, my brother.
Well, thank you for the wisdom. I mean, Alex, you are a guru when it comes to
Oh,
delivering the best of the best service. If I mean, you had a rating system, it'll be 10 stars from 5. And I would
appreciate it.
say you provide context unique to, well, especially within the service industry where you want to provide the best of the best, and then almost you would rather be in a situation where you would even break even, and for you it just matters more that the
Value first.
yeah, the value that it provides, and the person is happy at the end of the day. uh, Money is of course necessary. I mean, you want to get paid for your talent, you want to get paid for your skill and your service. At the same time, you value your your integrity. Honestly, you have integrity. Not a lot of business owners have that. They just want the money. And
Yep.
I appreciate you sharing that, and hopefully anybody that's hearing this would make sure as an entrepreneur to provide the best value and service to a customer, while also doing right by themselves. It doesn't have to
I
be
love that.
it
I
doesn't
love
have to
that.
be an exchange of unevenness. It could be a win-win.
Fly straight. My
Yeah.
entrepreneurs and freelancers out there, fly
Wait,
straight.
wait.
Don't cut the corners.
Except if you're gay, because it's Pride Month.
Right. Happy Pride Month, yo.
Happy
I
Pride
love that
Month.
segue. Right? That's what's up. And this is how we do it in the business temple. There we go, playing them out now. Thank you all for joining us on
We'll sashay away.
Business Temple Podcast. We talk about the union of ancient philosophy and modern business. This has been your co-host, Super Alex.
And your co-host Super Ray here and ready for the day. Make sure you subscribe, guys. Make sure you follow us here on YouTube. We are here consistently every single Saturday, 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific time. So join us once again. If you want to learn about business, married philosophy and business, become a better entrepreneur. We'll see you again next Saturday.
Peace.